Hi, Parkside. Welcome to this week's encouragement video. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, recently I was listening to a sermon on Hebrews 11, the Hall of Faith, talking about all of those who have gone before and the ways that their faith is meant to encourage and inspire and strengthen us to continue on in our faith journey. Sometimes when things are going well, sometimes when they're not, and sometimes when it just feels really mundane. But the example of saints gone before strengthens and encourages and inspires us. And it got me to thinking about people that I personally knew, not just people I read about in the scriptures. And so I just want to tell you a bit about two people like that in my life, and then kind of encourage you to think inwardly on this. So one of these people is a friend of mine, is out of state, and I got to spend a little bit of time with him recently. And here's the thing that encouraged me from him. He'd been legitimately wronged by somebody. We were talking about the situation together, helping him to process it. And he just chose to have a gracious response, not to excuse the person's sin, but to say, you know what, there was probably more going on there than I realized. And this doesn't need to trip me up here. And he extended grace in a generous way. And I was just so impacted by that, of thinking, man, where are ways in my life, who are people in my life where I just need to generously extend grace like he did. His example of faith inspired me, and I hope it does to you as well. Here's the second example I was thinking of just people in my life that I knew that were prayer warriors, or that I still know for that matter. But I was especially thinking of people from when I was a kid that I knew about. And you know, it's crazy. You look back and you think, man, all the things in the world that have changed, some for the better, some for the worse, some we don't know. But I'm pretty confident if that person was still here, they would still be taking these things to the Lord in prayer. They would still be saying, you know what, it's better to take it to Jesus than it is to be anxious about it. And people like that are just a rock in your life to know, man, this much is sure, this much is certain. And so I'd encourage you to think about people in your life. Who is it that's gone before you, who's had great faith in the God of the universe, the creator, the sustainer of all things? And how has that impacted you? Look back on their example, draw strength from it, and continue on in faith today. I think there's a rich heritage and a rich encouragement in the faith from those who've gone before. And as you're thinking about that, I want you to think about who are the people in your life that may not have that example just yet, or somebody that you could encourage in that way. You could invite somebody in to a time of prayer with you, or invite somebody just to run out to the grocery store with you. One of the guys I thought of, he simply took me to Taco Bell with him. Like, it seems so silly now to look back on, but he would say, hey, I'm going to Taco Bell tonight. It's 8, 9 o'clock or something. And we would go to Taco Bell together, and little stuff like that. But there's encouragement with other brothers and sisters in that way. So I'd encourage you to think back on people in your life who've encouraged you, who've had examples of faith, and who've continued on, and then see how you could be that kind of an example to somebody else. An imperfect example, no doubt, but nevertheless saying Jesus is worth it. We're going to press on together. Parkside, I love you. I love thinking about these things together. This week concludes the fall offering. I'm pivoting here to an announcement. This is, so it'll be open through the end of the week. Friday is the 30th. If you haven't had a chance to participate yet, I would invite you into that. There's incredible work with the gospel being done through these projects. And I would love for you to be able to participate in that way. So if you want to bring a cash or check by the church, that obviously that works, or you can give online. But it's open through Friday, and then the fall offering will close. And I just want to invite you into that opportunity, because I think you'll be glad to participate, to invest in eternity. We know that God loves a cheerful giver, and it's a great opportunity for us to participate in together. Parkside, I love you. I look forward to seeing you this Sunday. We will be in Genesis 19, which is a difficult passage with Lot and Sodom and some of the things happening there. So like we said a few weeks ago, we won't be graphic. We won't be going into any kind of details that we don't need to, but we will read the passage out loud. So as you have kids who will be in the service, I just invite you to read that passage with them and talk about it before we get to church so that there's nothing that surprises them. I want you to lead them and be the primary disciple maker in their lives. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to chat leading up to Sunday. Have a great week. We'll see you soon.